sounding like it's two separate entities. Girly Nerdy Good News and JustCoolEnough.com.
Well, I mean, you could do it that way, or I could just be an official entity of Just Cool Enough. I have been on your show like 5 times,
I think that is
and I just blogged for you.
that's true. You did just log into the site, and we did just blog on JustCoolEnough.com. So I would say, welcome to Social Media Meltdown, brought to you by the folks at JustCoolEnough.com, including myself, me, Joe Cariotti, aka SpeedyF40, and this is your cue.
And I'm Caitlin at Caitlin Shelby.
We're gonna be talking. Yes, we could do the cool YouTube thing where we point down, like, this is where our show is. Follow her, but you can follow me. Anyway, we are going to be talking about on this week's maiden voyage here on the internet. We're going to be talking about online piracy because that has been a real hot button issue, at least in the past couple of weeks. Everybody's getting, I guess, their digital panties in a wad.
It's true.
Yeah. Where do we start, Caitlin? You're the queen of organization, and I am the loose cannon on the internet. What do we got to do?
I mean, it always comes down to people saying that they don't have privacy online. But, I mean, you're the gatekeeper of your own information, correct? So, I mean, you only have as much privacy as you let out there. So,
well, that's not necessarily true. There's been instances where people's privacy has been compromised without them even knowing. People that sign into a search. Actually, this happened a couple of years ago off of Ask.com. Ask.com, they published a bunch of search results, and a reporter actually got their hands on these search results and was like, oh, this person did a vanity search. And then they looked at a couple other searches that they did and knocked on their door and was like, is this you? Did you search this? And they were like, I thought that was private. You know, like, people don't know about privacy online.
I don't know if I would care if someone took my search history.
But
I was just thinking about that, and I was like, what would they would think I was so weird.
Well, anybody who's anybody knows to clear your cookies. Use the private browsing if you're searching for something if you're buying a gift for somebody. You know, make sure you use your private browser.
Exactly. We ran into that problem at Christmas time.
Oh, did you? See, like somebody was logged into their email or somebody saw what they were searching?
iPhone, and it just pops up when you would get an email, full message, and I'm like, I can see that.
So your iPhone ruined your Christmas.
No, I actually didn't see it. Apparently, like, it was sitting there when it happened, but I'm just so oblivious most of the time. I don't pay attention to anything. But I have heard other people where they've bought stuff online, and the website made them like them on Facebook for, like, a special coupon. Well, then their significant other was like, why is my boyfriend liking this jewelry website?
Is that like ICE or something like that?
I don't know what it was.
You don't know what site it was?
No.
That's pretty interesting. But that's the kind of stuff that kind of chips away and gives people a really unsecure feeling on the internet, don't you feel?
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, it's the people that need to be more aware of what they're doing. And I mean, I don't log into anything using my Facebook account because I don't know. I don't want everyone to see what news articles I'm reading, and other people are like, it lets me, so I do it.
But okay, but isn't it kind of convenient to have that one login? Like, when I see that Facebook login or Twitter login, I'm like, good, tie my stuff together, integrate it. Put my MyFitnessPal and Twitter together so I can tweet whenever I'm losing weight. Put this and that together so it's convenient for me. Hell, if I could tie everything into one interface, I would do that, but it's just not there yet for me. Things like TweetDeck just don't do it for me.
No, and then, okay, so like you said, you tie your MyFitnessPal to Twitter, but you have your Twitter tied to Facebook. Now Facebook knows how much weight you've lost in the last year.
And now the CIA knows because.
And then they can put it in your timeline if they really wanted to. I mean, if we're gonna get ridiculous, now all your friends and family can watch you physically lose weight on your timeline.
But that's cool with me. But I think
it's cool with me too. But
I think you and I, we're in a kind of a different camp here. We kind of like. We live in a public kind of area, and we don't mind what people say or hear or see about us. But to a certain point, I'm not going to put something out there that is incriminating. I mean, other than all the Just Cool Enough episodes that I've done up till this point. But I mean, like, if somebody got a hold, there's no way I'll ever be able to run for public office, like, because
No,
of the awful things I've said at this point.
no.
But
You
but
make choices when you put yourself on the internet of what kind of, I always say, like, you're branding yourself as an individual. So are you the individual that, only puts out what I like to call scholarly information, if we're going to get technical, or are you going to be the person that puts out all that public information? And everyone's going to be able to see it, whether you know them now or you're going to know them in the future. And you're the gatekeeper of that information. So you have to decide what kind of person you're going to be, which will dictate the kind of people you're going to interact with for the rest of your life.
But what makes, I mean, is privacy even obtainable at this point? Can we even get to a point where privacy matters? Or, I mean, just by using the internet, I mean, look at Gmail. They obviously, I mean, even though they say that someone's not skimming over my email, and I love Gmail, I'm, I guess, borderline Google fanboy, maybe? I just use a lot of Google products. But, like right now, if I'm clicking on a Gmail thing, I can go up to the top and you have that bar that spits advertisement at you, and it's like, hey, you like Eve, so you're going to like this space game, or, there's 20 million restaurants that you can try in the Louisville area, and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't that creep you out at all?
It does, then it comes back to, like, what level of privacy. I mean, if you could say, like, I'm not gonna have, or I have personal privacy because I don't, tell everyone on Facebook or Twitter when I'm sick or whatever. But then, do you use WebMD? Do you Google your ailments? Like, there you go. Then you're losing some of your privacy. So,
what happens when like this information is being combined? And I mean, do you fear that like something like this can happen, and like you said, those accounts are linked, or you're signed into your Google account? What if your insurance provider gets a hold of your Google account and sees you've been Googling, like rash on my underbelly or something like that? Like what would happen at that point?
I mean, it's possible, and you can lose your insurance, I guess, if they're really gonna go that far. But I mean, it's going to have to be those case studies that do go that far to see what comes out of it. I mean, we haven't really seen much of that besides like workman's comp kind of things, but those people are just a little stupid. The ones that take off work, run a paid medical, and then post pictures of them hiking in the mountains.
Well, then this is already happening. I was worried I was running down a slippery slope, but it's like, it's already happening, like.
It is. It is already happening.
So what's to say, like, they combine, there was actually a cool story last week that I saw about how Target knows you're pregnant. Did you see this story?
I saw that story, and I was like, I read the headline. I was like, Target knows you're pregnant before your dad does, and I was like, what?
I better Target to see if I'm pregnant.
Like, let me watch this. And basically, for anyone who hadn't seen that article, Target was tracking everything that this, I think what was she, like 20, something like that. Anyways, everything that this young girl was doing, what she was buying there. And by her purchases, they could actually figure out what trimester she's in by what she was buying. And it goes all the way down to she was buying like a certain kind of lotion and a certain kind of like vitamins. And they figured out that she was pregnant. So they sent her this mailer with coupons for what she would need for her next trimester. And it was like, now that you're expecting, and then I had all these coupons for, I don't know, whatever you need for that section of your pregnancy. And her dad got it and was so upset and called Target and, threw this big fit because his daughter's not pregnant and that they're trying to, Target's trying to push teen pregnancy on her and blah, blah, blah. So they apologized formally for it. And then it turns out that the girl was actually pregnant and was hiding it from her father.
That is creepy beyond thought. But also, like, something like that is just the start of what's going to happen. I mean, look at, okay, I have a Reward Zone card. I have a Marsh card. I have a Godiva card. Myers, Panera, Costco, Target, Speedway. All these people know exactly what I've been buying in the past, forever.
Mhm.
What's gonna happen? I mean, like this information's already there and stored. When you combine that with search and I mean, like this is absolutely nuts. Privacy is, I think, at this point is almost a farce. Even if you're trying to be private, you're really not doing a good job unless you're completely off the grid. Like, there's really no, I don't see a good way to be private.
No, there really isn't. Anytime you touch the internet, you're losing a piece of your privacy, and there isn't a way to get it back.
So,
Basically.
I mean, you have to assume that everything you search and do, your privacy, I mean, it is public knowledge. You really do. Even the porn, even the awful things you look for. Uh, I mean, the real dirty secret. Everybody's up in arms about Google. Like, oh, Google has all my information. This is the worst thing to ever happen. The real thing we have to be concerned about our ISPs, our internet service providers. They know what, even if we're in private browsing, they know every damn thing that we do on the internet, whether it's looking up the WebMD thing to the most sick, disgusting, lewd sex act that you searched in the past, whenever, or just chatting on Facebook. They know every little bit of data because they're regulating that, and I think that's what we need to be the most scared. And not scared. We need to be active, and we need to make sure that this information isn't being put to use to incriminate people.
It is, and but then where do you draw the line at what you can use against someone? I mean, we can yell free speech all we want, and we can yell privacy all we want, but at the same time, it always kind of works out for the big guy somehow. Do you
Well,
know
what
what I mean?
what do you what no what do you mean by that? Can you like where are you going?
You see all the time these people that sue their former company for getting fired for something that they've done on the internet.
Uh huh.
And I mean, I've written all the social media policies for several companies, and I understand why the companies have them. But then, and I can see why the person ends up suing the company. But the lines are so blurred, and it's different for every case on whether or not the company was right or the person was right. And it always comes down to just a hairpin of a difference on what's constitutional and what's not. And as of right now, there is no thick black line where it's like, this is where you step over it and this is, the other side. So, I mean, it's so new, this privacy issue that people are having, and it's only going to keep increasing, but it's different on a case-to-case basis on who's right and who's not.
This is something that I was particularly worried about because actually just recently I just got this job for a new company in Michigan, and I was actually concerned that what if they find something from a post that was on MySpace from however many years ago. I think like companies need to I mean they're going to be googling you, they're going to be looking at your Facebook, and you just have to assume that this stuff is public knowledge. But can are we going to see a clause later down the line, like if you're under 20, we didn't look at your Facebook past your timeline on 20, like is it going to be that blatant?
Um, I mean, it should be. They should only look so many years back. Like, I would say, yeah, they should only be looking like a year back. If they can't, if that's what they want to do, if they want to be able to do a social search on you, and that's how they want to gauge how you are as a person, then that's their right to do it because it is public knowledge if you put it on the internet. But
Mm-hmm.
how far back, like, if am I going to apply for a job and they're going to be like, in 2006, your freshman year of college, you were a little bit out of control. Like, that's not fair to
Well,
me.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you could go on Facebook right now and find something incriminating about pretty much everybody. I mean, even people that are in the spotlight screw up a whole lot, and it's always fun to watch them crash and burn. But um, it really kind of stressed me out a little bit.
Thankfully, if we're just going to deal with Facebook, which I feel most companies, unless they're sophisticated enough to go elsewhere, are mainly going to look at Facebook.
Uh huh.
Um, the timeline, I think, helps to alleviate that because of how slow it scrolls when you get back, and they'll just show the years and then expand. And I
Uh-huh.
think that'll bring more of like a kind of like a stopper for companies to be like, oh, I'm all the way back at 2007. Like, who cares what they were doing then?
Yeah, and you know what? I do think, a company that is going to be looking at a history here, those freshman years of college or when you were younger, and I mean, you really do have to do a pass because, I mean, everybody was young and stupid once. But, continuing on Facebook is like the golden standard for all this. The if you keep your Facebook curated, if somebody just digs a little bit further, you could find a whole bunch of awful things. I mean, we were doing some research. Caitlin and I were doing some research before the show, but like when we were googling and searching, our MySpaces were ranked very high, or at least I know mine was. And you had a just some old blogger account or some
It's
or
an old WordPress.
yeah, an old WordPress account, and it's like, what?
And it was up there higher than my Facebook, and I don't even think I've logged into it in like, I don't know,
That's what
3+ years.
so I mean, like, I was about ready to delete my MySpace account, but I think it's like, that's like online history at this point. That's
It is.
it's like
You
dusting off
can't prove you were there if it's not there anymore.
and that's exactly it. I want to be able to, like, listen. I was on Twitter since like 2006, so you can suck it. Like this is how big my online ego is.
I mean, I'm lucky. I chose a long time ago that I wanted to be in the field of social media, and thankfully that's where I've ended up. And
Mhm.
um, I actually used those points to prove where I've been and my experience levels. I started an online book club on LiveJournal, yeah, in 2003.
Wow. Live
So
journal.
one of my big selling points is I've been blogging since 2003. And that's quite a statement for someone sort of fresh out of college that's new in the industry to be able to say that I've been professionally blogging with a large audience since 2003.
No, that's but
And I can't delete it because I needed to be there.
so I mean, what do you have to go through and curate your content at that point?
No, I mean, once again, I'm really lucky because it's understood that that's what comes with the territory. When I first got into podcasting, when Joe got me into this wonderful world of
The
podcasting,
wonderful world of podcasting.
I decided to go under an alias because I was afraid that when I was looking for jobs that this might actually hurt my job. And after like 2 or 3 interviews, I realized that the podcasting and blogging that I did was actually the biggest selling point on my entire resume.
Hmm.
So now I flaunt it everywhere I possibly can.
When
But I'm a kind of an anomaly.
well,
Because,
well, no, keep going. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine.
Well, what I was gonna say is, like, I've used my experience um, moderating communities and being part of media organizations, to in job interviews. Actually, I mean, in fact, like, going to cover something at a convention, that takes a lot of planning. That takes a lot of I mean, it can be rather stressful, and that kind of stuff. I think can go a long way. And but it's the thing is, I focused a lot less on the content I was delivering and more of the process.
Hmm.
But like you said, you're in a cool field because you are a social media expert, and I'm
There's
just
such thing as an expert. Let's not get carried away.
okay. Okay. I mean, what would be your official term? Like a social media analyst,
I'm technically a new media
new
specialist
media specialist. Okay, let me write that down
because
so I remember what it is here. Hold on.
social media would just be Web 2.0, and
Okay.
I deal with all new media mediums. So anything that's not traditional media like television, radio, or print.
Well, don't you think new media is kind of a weird term for it because it's going to get antiquated very quickly?
It depends. I think it's misunderstood because people just think it's social media.
Hmm.
But because I do internal and external communications, most of our internal communications are not social. They're all one-way communications between the company to their employees. So we utilize podcasts, which aren't social. in some senses if we don't offer the ability for them to answer us. Um, but we do podcasts, we do videos. So, I mean, it's kind of a more well-rounded so that I can do design, I can do editing, I do audio, visual. I kind of cover everything as well as moderating communities. And so I play the community manager role as well as the backseat kind of planner, strategist, and implementer.
Cool.
So
I guess you have credentials.
yeah.
That's good. That's good. I guess that comes with the territory of, being a well-polished human being. That's very good. I'm proud. I'm proud to be associated with someone who's so established on the internet.
Oh, that's too sweet.
I know, right? But really, I just want to get to this point here. Don't you have? I mean, like, we've kind of gotten away from the privacy thing. What can we do to be safe? Do you have like 5 tips, or I mean, like some quick, how can people protect themselves?
I mean, I always say, I've said it a couple times during the show that you're always the gatekeepers to your own information. So as far as Facebook comes, which as I think is the most well-used medium for people that aren't worried about, their search histories, because sometimes that doesn't even cross people's minds. So for Facebook, I mean, don't post anything that you wouldn't want your grandma to read or see. And anytime you're tagged in anything you wouldn't want your grandma to read or see, you untag yourself. I mean, the pictures are still out there, but at least they're not tied to your name. And then I always say put out twice as much or more good content as the not so great content you put out, to at least kind of water down the things that might not be as desirable to employers or to your family. And let's see. Oh, and then like you said, if you are worried about your browser history, there is the private browsing and clearing your cookies and all that stuff. But I mean, it's really, you just have to put it towards an effort to watch what goes out about you. I mean, there's a lot you can control. There's a lot you can't control. So why don't you focus on the things you can?
See, I do think that you almost glazed this golden rule. I mean, like, basically, if you wouldn't say it to, and I don't say grandmother, I say if you wouldn't say it to your mom, you probably shouldn't say it online. And I break that rule all the time, but I'm assuming a risk that I know the risks, A lot of people don't know the risks, and I think we should probably spread the word a little bit more, If you don't, and that's kind of been my golden rule for a decent amount of time, at least. If you wouldn't say it to your mom, don't say it online, and you're probably going to be safe. But I mean, is there any time to overstep those boundaries?
It comes back to what your personal goals are. What are your aspirations for life? If you are going to work somewhere that's not like a professional setting, that it doesn't matter if you're yelling the F word on the internet every day and posting pictures of you dancing on the bar, then by all means. But it's not just your employer. It's going to be your friends and your mom's friends and your friends' moms. And how do you want people to see you as a human being?
So it's like we kind of morphed the conversation a little bit from privacy to online persona, but I think they're very tied together.
They are. It's what kind of information you let out there. Whatever you let out there, people can take advantage of.
Together so nice.
But
let's just start with our picks of the week here. Unless
Yes.
you wanted to close any gaps.
No, let's go to our picks of the week.
Okay, so I guess
Not pictures. I want to make that clear. I
our
mean, we could show pictures.
we could. Maybe one week they will be pictures. Maybe they'll be pictures of people interneting.
Yeah, there we go.
Right? What do you got for us this week? What's kind of your web pick of the week? It could be anything. What we want to do here is just kind of explore maybe something you missed on the web for the week. It could be anything from pictures, audio clips. I mean, it could be a video. It could be some new memes or memes, or I don't know. What do you call those things? But,
I like to say memes just because it makes them sound cuter.
But I like memes because that's how it's supposed to be called.
I know, it's grammatically correct or socially acceptable. But
socially acceptable, yeah. Nobody really knows what it's supposed to be. So anyway.
But like when I say it in my head, like I always say things different in my head and then I accidentally say them out loud and then it's like crap.
Putting the wrong emphasis on the loud. Anyway.
Okay. Let me get to my pick of the week, which is an app. It's a mobile app and it's also a web app called Evernote, which has saved my life more than one time. Basically, Evernote is you can capture everything from audio to video to text notes to bookmarks to links to anything, literally anything that you can to copy and paste into a browser or post the link and it'll feed its own information in. Anything, literally. It will save it on in basically your own little sorry, my mouse stopped working again. You can save it to Evernote and then access it anywhere that you have access to the app. So from your iPad, from your phone, from your other tablets, I don't know, to your computer. So like I always take notes at work and I save them in Evernote and then, or like during meetings, and then when I'm in another meeting later, but I might not have my iPad, at least I always have my phone. Or then I'll be sitting at my desk and I need to pull up my notes so that I can actually compose what I need to do. And then I copy and paste it into Word, and there we go. And then you can do shopping lists. You can do. I like to save my bookmarks so that I have them available no matter what device I'm on or what computer I'm on. It's really just great for everything, and it's free, which is also the best part.
Oh, that's super cool. It's a powerful tool, and it's free.
Yes. So, I don't know. It just always ends up saving my life somewhere along the line. My first couple months at my job, they gave me a notebook. And that was the notebook I was supposed to use to take notes in. I think it might be around here. But anyway, I lost it like 4 times, and I would leave it at home. And it was a mess because what do I do with a notebook? I don't know. I'm not a person that I came to work with no pens. I didn't have a pen to write in the notebook with. And I'm just like, what do I do with this notebook? But I felt like they gave it to me, so I had to use it. But it ended up being a mess because it just lost it every other day. So anyways, then I got Evernote, and I keep my school notes in there. I keep my work notes in there, my personal notes.
So, I mean, like, you can pretty much access anything? Like, are you taking pictures of stuff? Is it just...
You can take pictures of stuff.
Things? I mean, what it can do pretty much any media file?
Any media file. You can you can record straight through it. One of the girls in my class opens up Evernote on her laptop and then records. I think she does audio because the seating is kind of weird, but she'll record the entire lecture through Evernote.
Bad. You got a bad
saves it on there. Doesn't save it on her computer. And then she can like go home and listen to it in the car off her phone, I guess, if she wanted to. I don't know.
She's making a podcast of your class. And it's completely free. That's really cool.
It's really user-friendly. You can make folders to file your things in.
It seems like this could be a really cool thing to interview people with also. Like, I mean, you can capture right to it. Is it all cloud storage, basically?
Yeah,
okay.
It is.
So it's like Dropbox on steroids.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, if steroids were a good thing, that was, acceptable.
Well, internet steroids, I feel like, are a good thing.
I think you're right. Internet steroids.
Digital steroids, good thing. Physical steroids, bad thing.
You can definitely tell, though, just by looking at, like, the website. You get a good feel about this thing. But what about, I mean, like, what's their privacy policy like? You know, what about all this information? Where's this? This is for free. Tell me this isn't crazy. You have this awesome product, okay? I mean, is there a premium?
Privacy policy.
Okay. Is there a premium version of this, or are they just selling all your information? Because
there is a Go Premium option.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, all these great services like Facebook, like Gmail, like, you know, G Drive or whatever, you know, like Dropbox. I don't know if they're selling your information, but they're got to be making money somehow, right?
Yeah, they do.
So this is like these free services and private.
There are ads.
There are ads. Okay, well, I mean, ads.
In the corner, little one.
That's cool. I mean, I don't mind ad-supported stuff. I don't mind targeted ads, but this kind of stuff makes me a little bit nervous because, I mean, the Path debacle too. That was a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Do you use Path?
Well, you can visit my blog at CaitlinShelby.me and read all about it. But I will go ahead and tell you, I kind of reviewed the whole thing, and it's great because it's supposed to be more on like a private level, but it doesn't allow you to tie it to any social media, other social media networks. So I would have liked if Path would just automatically filter everything I tweet and everything I put on Facebook into it, so that just...
No, but that's not what Path is about. Path is a social network that is built on this like small community. Like, Path is what I wanted my Facebook to be until I just started slutting it up all over the place and just, come on in, everybody, everyone's my friend, you know? Like, and
I know, but I feel like I spend so much time putting myself into mainstream social media that I literally don't have any more time to update Path.
Well, so, I think that kind of will touch on next week's topic. I'm thinking something like maybe media, maybe social networking fatigue, something like that. We'll talk about that next week, definitely, on Social Media Meltdown. But I do want to do my kind of quick tip. It's kind of a fun one. And by fun, I mean it can be fun for people that are interesting like me.
You're interesting?
I'm interesting in the most unique way. Search history, we were talking about it. Google offers something really cool. It's google.com/search history. And then you sign into your Google account here. I'm going to sign into mine right now. I'm not going to pull up my search history because who knows what I was looking for. But basically, you can go through your whole search history since the beginning of your Google account for most people, and you can pull up how many searches you were doing a day, what's like your most searched term, when do you search the most. There's just so much information that's out there about you, and this kind of really hits it home to say, like, this is all the stuff. This is just stuff I'm Googling. This is just stuff that...
My search history is currently empty.
Did you clear yourself out?
I must have.
Well, the tip that
I didn't do it on purpose because you were talking about it. Apparently I did it.
That's pretty good. Well, you can actually disable Google from tracking you, too. I have mine enabled because I want to see, you know, what they see, and I want to go back and say, wow, Tuesdays at 8:30 is like my most heaviest time that I'm Googling. And
I know, I'm like really upset that mine doesn't work.
Wow, that's awful. Well, I mean, that's awful for you, but maybe for privacy, somebody who's more concerned.
Yeah, I'm not concerned with privacy. So what's your most, like, what time of day do you Google the most?
Well, hold on, let me log in, because I'm actually logged out of my account right now. It's actually really cool because it lets you do this stuff, but search history? I have to go to my tip. I don't know. Google.com. And there'll be links on justcoolenough.com, and or if you're watching it on YouTube, I guess we'll put the links down. I always want to do that thing, the stupid YouTube point down, like, dude, the links are down there at the bottom. Check it out.
Leave us comments.
Yeah, leave us comments. Tell us what you think. Fake. Anyway, I don't know what my search term is because I'm not logged into my Google account, and I don't want to log. I don't want to log in for privacy.
Okay, fine.
Why?
But,
Do you
okay,
have a
so
book search term?
no, mine. I have nothing.
Oh, you don't get anything. What would it be?
It would probably be. I'm trying to think. I don't even know what would be. What do I search the most?
I probably search Google the most. Like, I mean, just inadvertently, you're in a search bar. And
Do you use Chrome?
I do use Chrome. I mean, I just Google from the bar up at the top. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's just kind of one of those old habits that die hard, and I
I
probably
know someone that has Chrome and they type Google in at the top to get to Google, and I was like, you could use the search bar. You just Googled Google to get to Google. You could use the search bar.
well don't you feel more friendly when you're on your Google page and it says Google and nice white like
I mean, I do miss out a lot on these Google Doodles. People are like,
This
you
is
see the Google Doodle? And I'm like, no.
Did you see it? It was great.
I'm like, no, didn't see it. Sorry.
Oh well.
But there you go with privacy. What are people going to do with all that information?
I don't care. But maybe you do, and you should probably email us about it. Our
Yes.
email address is, socialmediameltdown@justcoolenough.com. You could also send it to no, I don't know. It'll work too. It'll all forward, because social media meltdown is kind of a mouthful, don't you think?
Yeah, it is.
It is, but it's a good mouthful. It's just like that big first bite of nachos.
Ooh.
Yeah, right?
Nachos.
That's what I'm having for dinner tonight. Anyway, anything else? Any cleanup you got?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Can I do the pointing thing?
You do the pointing thing.
Follow me.
I'm just dancing, though.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys, and let us know what you think. I am at Speedia40 on Twitter.
And I'm at Caitlin Shelby on Twitter also.
And that has been Social Media Meltdown for this week.